gentlemen. Uh, Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ayu Selena. The aim of this presentation is to analyze the factors that are driving globalization, evaluate the market strategies, propose a business expansion, and critique the ethical and sustainable implication of globalization. Globalization itself simply means the process in which different economy and society become interwoven economically, culturally, and politically. Globalization has existed hundreds of years. Globalization can be traced back as far as the ancient Sumerian and the Indus Valley civilization. They are the very early forms of civilization. Other well-established trade link were between the Indians, Egypt, Greeks, as well as the Roman Empire. Most recently, organizations like the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, and blocs like the European Union, the EU, have been the most recent drivers of globalization. There are many factors. Trade liberalization, as government taxation tariff are ways to regulate trade and service by different governments around have made it possible for businesses to access each other's markets. Technology is another factor that is driving globalization. With the rapid development in technology in the past few decades, organizations have taken advantage by going global with their businesses. The widespread of information technology has made it possible for people to access information from any corner of the world. The transformation of widespread of personal computer and internet have not only benefited the manufacturing industry, but also benefited service sector like the banking and the tourism. Other sectors that have benefited from the development of technology is the transportation sector. The development in the aviation technology has drastically improved the geographical mobility of goods and people from one place to another. Another factor that drives globalization is a political factor. A country political decision is paramount when it comes to the way it wants to deal or correct the effect of globalization. The size and structure of any country's international trade largely depends on the export and import tariff, as well as taxation on its goods and services. Cost factor is that propel globalization in the world today. Factors like stages of countries' development, the location, education, and geographic are different when it comes to countries. So are the cost of production, such as land, capital, and labor. A very good example of this cost factor can be seen in the developing countries like in Africa and Southeast Asia and China, where the labor cost there is far more cheaper than the developed world. This tends to attract multinational corporations to invest or to go global so that they could access this cheap labor and access the raw materials in that very region. While companies they go global, one of the purposes of company going global or going international is the economic of scale, competitive advantage, proximity to raw materials, branding and image, go international so that they could be able to be competitive against other firms. While if they stay in their own region, they'll be lacking. They might as well go out of business in the most recent time because other companies they tend to go international. They have much customer, much they can sell to any part of the world. But if you stay in your own region, you might as well go out of business in no time. Globalization have its own impact on our society. There are positive ones and there are negative ones. Globalization have been able to transform our society, and development have taken place because of globalization. The sharing of information is another form of where globalization have impacted the world in general. But there are other negative impact of globalization. Some says climate change can be attributed to globalization. Unfair distribution of income in the world today are also part of also part of the impact of globalization. Environmental degradation like land, air, and the pollution and the increase of CO2 has likely been attributed to globalization. Other reasons, tension around the world. They said globalization have played its own part in accelerating religious tension in the world today. Before this key success factor in into consideration before going international, they have to know who their customer is, what are they seeking, what are they seeking to serve the customer, who are their competitors, and how to gain competitive advantage over their competitors. That brings us to market entry strategy. Company aiming to increase sales, market share, or establish their brand names, engage in international down the need uses many ways in entering foreign markets. Amongst them are the direct export, indirect export, franchising, joint venture, licensing, and acquisition. Own product in his own country and export it to a different market, thereby holding the know-how and the expertise to itself. That is, there's a security when it comes to that form of market strategy. Direct export is the process where the producer sells his product to a third party who finally sells this product in a foreign market. That is direct or indirect, or that makes the company successful in its own country. Will give these things, these amenities to an investor in a different country. A very good example of is the McDonald's. We have joint venture is when two companies know how and expertise between themselves. Licensing is another form of entry strategy. The home company now gets its own loyalty as formation is when a company buys the shares and the assets of a company that is already existing in the foreign market. That brings us to propose a market to go into. Developing countries are quite attractive destination for foreign investment in various economic sectors. Whether a multinational company can be successful in entering this market solely depends on the understanding of the external microeconomic, social environment, and market strategy that is being implemented by the firm. The market strategy that uh, like I said before, the market strategy are the direct entry, export, indirect export, and other forms of market entry. The Rwanda and Angola as the two countries to make comparison, so that we could be able to recommend uh, uh, one of them to. Rwanda had a population of 12.21 million people. Their annual GDP is 6.1 by 2017, 2018. The inflation rate exactly the same year is 4.9%. Unemployment rate is 16%. Interest rate by 2017-18 is 5.5. Their corporate tax rate is 30%, while the personal income rate is 30% as well. Exchange rate remains at 901.76 Rwandan francs to $1. While we have the Angola population is 28.9 million people. 2017-18 is minus 1.6%. The inflation rate is 17.96%. Unemployment rate is 20%. Interest rate remains at 15.7. Corporate tax is 30%. Personal income tax is 17%. Their exchange rate is 165.8 to $1. They also have what they call the social corporate tax, which remains at 8%. To analyze both countries, we will see that Rwanda projected to the year 2020, we have an increase of 1.6% growth on their GDP, and their inflation rate is projected to reduce from 4.9 to 3% by the year 2020. Unemployment is stable. It's going to remain at 16% throughout the coming few years. The corporate tax remain the same, and the personal income tax remain at 30%. While Angola, the GDP is expected to grow from minus 1.6 to 2.3% at the end of 2020. Inflation rate is also projected to reduce to 12%. Unemployment will reduce by 0.2%. The corporate tax remains at 30%, while the personal income tax will remain at 17%. They have what they call the social corporate tax as well. In recommending a suitable and conducive environment for each division to expand their business, this presentation will recommend Rwanda to be suitable and suitable for them to expand their business to, because the GDP growth that is expected by the year 2020 is 1.6%, and there is a decrease in inflation by 0.4% by 2020. The corporate tax remained the same at 30% by 2020. Other factors that will make that will give a conducive environment for business in Rwanda is the low cost of legal costs. They have low corruption. There's a limit they want to establish a business there, and they have effective public financial administration. This brings us to the conclusion. Due to the vast opportunity in the developing economy, there is the need for foreign companies to invest in various economic sectors. However, formulating a sound marketing strategy, understanding the external microeconomy and the host country's social environment is paramount to the company's success. Thank you very much. Any question?